Hello, everyone. I am Michael Ruger. I am the managing partner of Greenbush Financial Group. As college becomes more expensive, a lot more family members are trying to pitch in to help those college students either pay for college or helping them with student loan payments after they're done with college, not realizing that one of those two actions could trigger gift tax and gift tax reporting on behalf of the person making that payment. We'll start off by addressing the tuition payment scenario where someone other than the parent of the child is making a tuition payment on behalf of that student. And this doesn't apply just to college tuition. It can also apply to private school for a K through 12 or a pre-K program, as long as that individual is making the payment directly from themselves to the school. It is not looked at as a gift in the eyes of the IRS, which means it's not subject to gift tax and it's not subject to the annual gift exclusion amount. So if a child were attending a private school, K through 12, that costs $50,000 a year, a single grandparent could decide to pay the private school directly $50,000 and they don't have to file a gift tax return. It's not subject to gift tax. The important exception here is this applies just to tuition payments. It does not apply to expenses paid for room and board. So if a non-parent pays expenses for room and board direct to the college institution, it does not get this gift tax treatment exemption. A gift tax treatment would apply in those cases. The other important rule in the tuition situation is the payments must be made directly to the school. If that non-parent pays the money to the parent and then they pay the tuition, or that non-parent gives it to the child and then they pay tuition, now you've completed a gift. You don't get the special exception. So to summarize this, if a non-parent makes a tuition payment directly to a K through 12 private school or directly to a college on behalf of a student, not treated as a gift. If they make payments directly to a school or a college for room and board, now it's considered a gift. If they give the money to the student or the parents and then they make the payment for the tuition, now it's a gift. Again, the only exception is that non-parent is giving money directly to the schools as tuition payment only, and that escapes the gift tax treatment. Now we're going to shift gears over to someone making a student loan payment on someone else's behalf. In those cases, the IRS does consider that a gift, which may be subject to 1, gift tax reporting, and 2, potentially gift tax paid by the person making the payment. To understand how this works, we first have to review the annual gift exclusion amount. So in 2025, the annual gift exclusion amount is $19,000 per person, which means I can give any number of people $19,000 and I don't have to file a gift tax return and I don't have to worry about paying any gift tax on those amounts. It's once I exceed that $19,000 to one individual person that I now have to worry about either filing gift tax return, paying gift tax, or both. So let's say there's a grandparent that wants to help their grandchild repay their student loans. They could give them up to $19,000 each year. They could give them the money directly and then they make the student loan payment, or if they feel better, directing the payment directly to the loan service provider on behalf of the grandchild to make sure those payments are made. They can do that as well. But the key thing is, as long as they stay under that $19,000 threshold, they don't have to worry about filing gift tax return or owing gift tax. If there are 2 grandparents, they actually each have $19,000 a year that they could give to that grandchild, so a total of $38,000. So if, let's say, the grandchild has $30,000 worth of student loan debt, that pair of grandparents could give them $30,000, and because they each have a $19,000 exclusion, no one has to file a gift tax return and no one owes gift tax. It's only if the gift exclude the $19,000 for a single filer or $38,000 for a joint filer that now you have to be worried about filing a gift tax return. Now, by having to file a gift tax return does not necessarily mean you owe gift tax. The gift tax return is just to tell the IRS that, yes, I gifted over my annual exclusion amount for the year. The reason why most individuals don't have to worry about paying gift tax is the lifetime exclusion amounts are so large, which is different than the annual exclusion amount. So at the federal level, you have to gift away $13.9 million before you owe any federal gift tax. The states have their own limits. Some states adhere to the federal limits and are 13.9 as well. Other states might be, let's say, $7 million. So you got to look at what your state limits are, because there could be state tax due, but a lot of the limits are very, very high when it comes to that gift tax lifetime exemption at both the federal level and the state level. The moral of the story is, if you are a non-parent and you're helping someone repay student loans and you go over that annual exclusion amount, it shouldn't really trigger any taxes for anyone unless you are over those big lifetime exemption amounts. But you may have to file a gift tax return, which essentially tells the IRS, I went over my limit for the year, which is how they use that to track how much of your lifetime you used up over the various tax years. The most common question I get is, if I make this student loan payment on behalf of this family member, is it going to trigger some type of tax liability for them? Because when you talk about debt forgiveness, sometimes that can trigger a tax liability for the person whose name the debt was in. But this is not a forgiveness. You are actually making a payment on behalf of someone else. In those cases, since it's a gift, the person that is essentially receiving that gift does not owe any tax. If there's ever gift tax due, it's paid by the person that's actually making the gift, not the person receiving the gift. There are a number of ways that our clients use these strategies in their estate plan. With the tuition direct payments, there's a tremendous opportunity to assist in shrinking the estate if that is the goal of a client, because you're not bound by the annual gift limitations. If your child goes to a private school that costs $70,000 or $80,000 a year, that grandparent can make those payments directly to the college and start shrinking that estate by $80,000 every single year for each grandchild. The second is, if there's a non-family member that realizes one of their nieces or nephews or grandkids has a sizable student loan balance and they want to help, and instead of giving that family member cash directly, they'd rather make those payments directly to the loan service provider. There's different strategies to say, well, if the loan balance, let's say 80 grand, if they don't want to file a gift tax return for gifting over that annual exclusion amount, they could just give them $19,000 a year every single year until those loan payments are made in full. Or if they have plenty of room on their lifetime exemption amount, that $13.9 million, then they can go ahead and give them the full amount, just knowing it's not going to trigger any gift tax. They're just going to have to file a gift tax return that year. There are also situations where an individual wants to make universal gifts to family members and wants them to be equal, but some of those family members have student loan balances and others do not. And there's kind of two options here. Either you say, well, I'm just going to give everyone their $19,000 flat, and they can decide whether or not they want to repay their student loans or do something else with the money. Or for the ones that have student loans, you could apply those payments directly to the loan service provider and make sure those are used towards the student loans. With the ones that don't have student loans, you just give them cash directly. I hope this information was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at greenbushfinancial.com. Thank you.